solar system is ascending. The Earth is ascending with it, and therefore we are also ascending vibrationally with it. That means everything that is dark or dense that has been held within can no longer be tolerated by our energy bodies. And that means that everything is coming up to be released, which is why you're seeing so much anger in the world, so much illness within people, and so many negative energies coming up within people, such as anger, hatred, resentment, bitterness, depression. We seem to have an awful lot of that going on at the moment. That's because we can no longer carry that energy within our energy fields whilst we're on the earth, and so it has to be released, it has to be accepted and loved and released completely with us moving forward now. And the vibrations are getting quicker and quicker as the expansion of the universe takes place. So hidden and buried things that once we would have tolerated for many, many years are now coming up to the surface to be released pretty quickly. And it's getting quicker. You know, it was twice as quick, and it's becoming 4 times as quick, and then it'll be 10 times as quick, and so on and so on. So we have to really focus now on clearing the very basic negative energies within ourselves. Now, most of us that are viewing this video will have had probably in excess of 100,000 lifetimes, assuming you believe in reincarnation. And that's an awful lot of lifetimes. Obviously, to go on and be a spiritual master will live well in excess, well in excess of those. But that's an awful lot of experience that we've had, that our soul has had throughout those lifetimes. And that means we've experienced the very darkest of things, and we've been the very darkest of people, and we've experienced the very best of things as well. The soul chooses what it wants to experience in a particular lifetime. And when we incarnate into a particular lifetime, we don't bring in all the energies of all the other lifetimes. We bring in just the appropriate energies and experiences that we need to work with or work on in that particular lifetime. And this is where past life regression will only open a certain amount of doors into a certain amount of past lives, because we can't access everything that we've ever experienced, because there's no point in us doing so, but we can access certain lifetimes that are relevant to the lifetime that we're living now. Now, throughout history, you know, we've lived in history, we've been part of history, and therefore we've experienced everything from thousands of years ago, going right through to the Romans, the Greeks, all over the world, different indigenous cultures. So we've experienced everything from dishing out curses and spells to receiving curses and spells. And you know, the Romans are a perfect example of historic curses, because it was a very regular practice for them to write a curse on a lead tablet, throw it into a particular fountain or a spiritual place of worship, accompanied by a prayer, therefore an intent on the person that they were sending the curse to. That was very much part of their culture, and we know this because of all the lead curses that have been found when excavating some of the Roman places and baths now since. And this is similar in other cultures, and we know throughout history there's been a lot of persecution of religions, and there's the witchcraft trials we know in the 17th and 18th century. You know, we had the Reformation in the 16th century, the Spanish Inquisition, and so on and so on. So we know there's been a lot of curses, a lot of spells, a lot of persecution, which has been very unfair throughout history. And I don't want to go too much into the history now, but we know there's been a lot of dark energy around. And a prime example of where it's being used is the Hellfire Club in the, I think it was the 18th century. where they had the devil as the emblem, and they would gamble and have prostitution and fornication and lots and lots of drinking, lots and lots of eating, so everything to excess basically, and therefore really using the very deepest, darkest of energies to excess in the material sense. So we've basically come into this world with some of those energies from some of those other lifetimes that we've lived. But not only that, we've also inherited certain beliefs through our ancestral lines. So also in our DNA, we've inherited whatever our families believe down our mother and our father's line, and we have that running in our DNA as well. So we have the other lifetimes and the ancestral beliefs all combined as one within our DNA. But that doesn't mean to say that we're stuck with that belief system or those belief systems that we've come into this world with. And epigenetics, the modern science, teaches you that it is the environment that affects the cell, and therefore if you change the environment, then you are able to change your DNA, basically. And they've proved this again and again through many scientific experiments. And therefore, when we're talking about changing the environment, we're talking about changing belief systems and changing emotional attachments to memories as well. As we do that, we change our vibration, we change our energy, and we're changing our DNA as well. So we're not stuck with our ancestors' belief or our programming. We can change it. So when we're talking about dark or dense energy, I'm not talking in a scientific perspective about the dark energy out there in the world of space. I'm talking about dense energy such as entities, attachments, demonic energy, satanic energy, dark forces. There is such a thing as separates, fallen masters, negative thought forms, psychic attacks, hooks, elemental energies, some of them poltergeist, divas, that kind of thing as well. So I don't want to go too much into the description of all of them, but there are a huge array. There are many names, the succubus, incubus as well, and many other names, and different names across different cultures as well. And the names are not important. It is the energy that is important that we need to deal with. And most people are carrying various forms of this energy within their own energy bodies. So what we want to really deal with is not really look into the different types of energy, not certainly for the purpose of this video, but to look into what we can do to protect ourselves and how we attract that energy. One of the ways that we attract this energy is through either heavy drinking, heavy drug taking, associating with people who are drinking heavy and taking drugs on a regular basis, and also if we're feeling tired, if we're feeling depressed, if we're holding a lot of anger, a lot of hatred, a lot of the very dense energy vibrations, then what we're doing is we're weakening our aura, we're weakening our different energy fields, and we're making ourselves open to invasion or attack or attachment in some way. So one of the ways that we can protect ourselves is we can imagine we are surrounded by, a lot of people say white light will protect you, but I think you need to be even stronger than that sometimes. And I think when you're visiting clubs or parties or around people who are pretty low, then we need to make sure that our energy fields are protected. And you know, our energy fields can spread right out to 10, 20, 30, 40, 50 feet. So when you're protecting your energy field, make it as expansive as you can. And you can surround yourself with gold or silver rings of light, right from, you know, the bottom of your feet all the way up to above the top of your head is one way. Or imagine you're in a bubble that is surrounded by silver or an electrified fence of silver, so that anything that comes towards you, make sure you set the intent that it is sent away with light and with love. Now, we've all been darkness, we've all been light, and it's important to remember that we are made of darkness and we are made of light in order to get the full balance. The soul wants to experience everything, and therefore we haven't lived a life of priests and priestesses and monks and healers always in our incarnations. We've been murderers, rapists, we've been the darkest of the dark souls, as well as the good, the healers, the priestesses, and that side of things as well. So we have experienced darkness before experienced that light. So we are all darkness and light, all that is. So it's important to remember that we consist of all of that, and therefore there is nothing to be afraid of with them. Because one of the problems that we get when we're talking about dark energies and dense energies is that people get very afraid of it, because they're brought up culturally to believe that it's going to harm us. We see all these horror movies all the time that generate all these horrific things. We have the paranormal TV crews that are focusing in on negative entities that are being mischievous and potentially dangerous, and they do exist. I'm not denying that they don't exist, but what I am saying is that if you want to become impervious to any kind of attack or attachment, then it's important that we work on clearing the anger within ourselves, work on clearing the hatred and the low, the dense energy that is sitting there that is attracting this stuff to us. And if you are carrying any kind of anger or depression or hatred or anything like that, you're going to attract a similar vibration in energy. That's the way the law of attraction works. So whatever you are holding at a subconscious level, because we're not aware most of the time what we're holding at a subconscious level, that that's the vibration that is being sent out, and therefore that's the vibration that you're going to attract to you. And one great way of clearing some of this energy is to imagine yourself stepping onto a silver blanket. And if you like, imagine you've got little fairies or angels in each corner. This is a very simple way of clearing entities, attachments, and darker energy. And imagine that silver blanket being brought up over your energy, up through your legs, all the way up through and over your head, and then being gathered up by those fairies or angels, and then all the darkness and all the attachments or entities that are carried off with it. And if you take your time doing that, bringing it up very, very slowly, so that silver vibration in the blanket is covering all of your energy field, and then is carted off by the angels into a pillar of light or into the violet flame, then you will find that will help you enormously there. Another way to clear some of the dark energies is to imagine yourself stepping into the violet flame, the beautiful flame that will transmute anything that's in it into divine light and love. So I hope you found this video useful, and I will do another part 2, maybe a part 3 soon, looking into these dark energies in more detail and giving other techniques and tools that you can use to help you raise your vibration at this time. Thanks very much. Bye.